Hello, everybody. How's it going? It is kind of a weird Sunday afternoon here. It started off really nice and sunny today after a really gross and yucky and cold Saturday, with added excitement from a meteor hitting the atmosphere right over Boston Harbor and setting off a sonic boom across the entire region. That was fun. It was like, what the heck was so it was nice again. Then today it was like, comfy, and then all of a sudden just this like storm blew through. Looks like it stopped raining, but it's still overcast, so I'm not quite sure what's going on, but it's a good afternoon to stitch. Just kind of curl up inside. But yeah, it's a little crazy this weekend, but it's been a good weekend. Max had his belt ceremony on Friday, so he now officially has his belt. It was a very beautiful, very kind of quiet, solemn candlelight ceremony where the kids were asked to reflect on, what brought them to this spot, and also what in their lives, not just in martial arts, but what in their lives they want to focus on next. What's their next chapter? Very, very nice. Very busy. There are a lot of people there. And then yesterday we were just kind of hanging around doing a little bit of everything and just staying dry because it was so gross outside. And then we did a celebratory lunch this afternoon, and went for ice cream when it started pouring rain on us. So that's kind of where we're at. I am not sure what all I have planned today. I threw some stuff in my to-do list in the timer for my goals for stitching today, but I am going to be working again on Coming to America. So when last I left you, last week, I was going to pick out the Union Jack because the blue was just not the right shade of blue. So that has now been done. And I know it's kind of glowing against the back chair there. But okay, let me get my list of things I have. All right, so what I'm planning to do today is there's kind of a light brown outline on this sail just to make it a little more visible. So I'm going to add that on the other sails. I have like 3 or 4 seagulls that I need to, actually it might not even be that many because I worked that one in. So I have 2 more seagulls to add onto this over here. And then I also have to put the eyes, beaks, and feet on all of them. So I've got that to do. I want to put that Union Jack back in with the corrected colors. And over kind of where my needle is sitting right now is an anchor. So I'm going to stitch that anchor in. And then if I finish that, which I think I should, because it seems pretty straightforward, then I'm going to start moving on to some of the details on the boat again. And I'm doing these in the order that I should have. So I'm going to add in, there's the English flag, not the Union Jack, but the actual white and red English flag is right here. And then there's one man standing here, and then there's 2 heads that stick out of the boat here. So if I get the other stuff up here done, then I'm going to focus on people and kind of build the boat the other way, then rather than going up like I did before. So that is my stitching goal today. And if you are new here with my sprints, basically this is a open opportunity sprint. So whatever you want to be doing, you are welcome to do. I will be stitching, but if you are reading, if you're writing, if you're knitting or crocheting or just tidying your house, whatever you're doing, everyone's welcome. Open opportunity. I will be running 3 45-minute sprints with roughly a 10-minute break in between them to sit and chat, or if it's quiet, then we'll grab sodas and whatnot. I've learned from previous times that if it's quiet on the sprints, I'll just let the sprints or the breaks run for the 10 minutes anyway, because someone tends to pop up somewhere like right before they're going to end, and I feel like I'm talking to no one, but that's okay. If it's quiet, I'm just going to let the break run, and then I will go back and do my thing and start the next sprint. So we will do 3 45-minute sprints. Traditionally, I've done a wind down sprint afterwards, but because I know tonight is the final night of the Kooky Readathon, and I'm pretty sure Coda's starting his sprints at 8 o'clock. I want to wrap up nice and tidy on time for those. So that's my plan. So I'm going to get us going. It seems pretty quiet here today. I think a lot of people are out and about doing things, and I know it's graduation season for high schools and all that kind of thing. So people might be not here tonight. I'm going to get the first sprint going. Feel free to pop in and say hi if you come on the stream. I'd love to hear from you, see what you're working on, what your plans are for the day. I will be here the whole time. They will be silent sprints, so if you are listening to audiobooks or whatnot, I won't be interrupting you, but I'll make sure to turn my sound on like about 20 seconds before the sprint ends so you can hear the chime. And I will see you in 45 minutes. So happy sprinting, everybody, and I'll see you in a little while. All right, everybody. Hello, hello. That sprint went by faster than I thought it was going to. Let me anchor my needle here. How'd that one go for everybody? Mine is going a little slowly, but it's only because I'm stitching white on top of this light fabric. So it's just, yeah, I can't even get it to show up here. That's probably the best I'm going to get it because of the shadows in this room. But I'm working, there's a couple of little seagulls that are over here. So I'm just putting the white in there. And just because of being on the light fabric and stitching in white, it's just going a little slowly. But I'm almost done putting the final shape of the bird in. And then during this next sprint, once I get that done, I'm going to put the eyes, noses, and feet on all of them. And then we'll see where I'm at during the sprint. I'll probably, you know, like do the Union Jack or something, because that'll be just quick rows of blue. Yeah, so working right along. It's going. Oh, goodness. Yeah, excuse me. That sprint went a lot faster than I thought it would. Let me pause the chatty, my break here, because we had a little bit of chatting. Okay. And I don't want to run over the 10 minutes. So let me go back to where I was laughing, because when I started up, no one had been talking. And I'm like, oh, I'm here all by myself today. Okay. But Liz popped in quickly and said hello, and I didn't see her respond again, so she might be running around. But Liz, if you're still around, let me know what you're working on today. And then Pearl came in to say hello, and that it is quiet. Yeah, I think a lot of people may be at, it's, you know, it's high school graduation season. I think colleges are mostly done now, but a lot of high school graduations this week. I think the ones in our area kick up this coming week, because the kids here have, Max is counting, and he said 13 days of school left. He's got basically 2.5 weeks left. So he's counting down. But yeah, I think it's all, everyone's at graduations, you know, it's that time of year. And people start disappearing for vacations after Memorial Day in the States. So who knows? Anyway, I said hello to both of them and asked what they were working on. And Pearl said that she'd been cooking today and knitting. She's also getting sorted to do her down soft 75 starting tomorrow, which is a general way of easing yourself. I had to look it up. It's a general way of easing into getting in a little bit better shape, both mentally and physically. Got an MP3 played and adding some audiobooks to train my brain to listen. Very nice. Very nice. And she said, and she'll be walking an hour every morning while listening, so I get 2 things done at once. Which, hey, it's the perfect way to multitask. It's why I'm enjoying, you know, listening to books while I stitch. And I never used to be an audiobook person, like, at all. But I'm finding with specific activities, I can do it. And it has to be specific books. I found, like, the one I'm listening to now, I'm listening to 12 Months by Jim Butcher, which is read by James Marsters, who played Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I cannot listen to that one while driving. I don't know why. I think it's just with how calm his voice is. It's like, it makes me zone out unsafely while driving. So it's something I need to do while I'm at home and not behind the wheel of a car. But yeah, I've found that I'm enjoying listening to audiobooks while I do something else. I can't just sit and listen to an audiobook, but if I'm puttering, it works out really, really well. And so I said, nice. I hope that challenge works for you, Pearl. And then I said that I had a nice afternoon with the boys, running errands and having lunch out with them. And now when ready to enjoy the evening with stitching and writing. Because, yeah, once I know the Kooky reading challenge is wrapping up tonight since it's the last day of May. And my friend Jenna, Jenna the Soul Bard, is doing a writing exercise tonight at like 9 o'clock in the evening. So I'm kind of going to be bouncing between those two. And I do feel the itch to do a little bit of writing tonight. So I may do that winding down the evening. So I'll probably be popping on there for a little bit. And Pearl said, nice, I need to move more, drink more water, and use my rebounder. So why not train my brain to listen to audiobooks at the same time? Exactly. You can consume more stories faster. Exactly. I totally agree. I'm one of those that I don't like drinking water straight, but I'll drink tea, especially like a gentle herbal tea. So I've been trying to increase my tea intake to get the liquid in and try to cut the soda down, because Diet Coke is my worst addiction on the planet, and I need to reduce it quite a bit. So, and it was like, sounds like a great day for me. It was. And how was the belt ceremony? And I point out that it was lovely, a nice little pause for the kids to reflect. And I mentioned I'll share a photo or two. So let me grab that, because it really was beautiful. And one of the things that I had kind of been sad about with his last two big belt tests, which were to get to his apprentice black belt and then his full black belt, was they'd kind of changed things a little bit, and they didn't do this candlelight ceremony as it exists. I think they were just trying some new things, and it's cool. I mean, that's what you do. But I kind of was like, oh, I really wish you would have been able to do that. And so I was really happy when they decided to bring that back. Okay, so let me bring this up for you all, because I have it on. Oop, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Chrome tab, that one. Let's try this. There we go. Okay, so this was Max sitting, waiting patiently as they were starting the ceremony. And each of the kids went up to the front and were given just, a little votive candle. And they walked around everybody who was seating on the floor. And there were probably about, I want to say, 30 kids there that were getting various belts. Max was one of the higher belts. And then they all were said to sit down and close their eyes and think over their candle about where they'd been to this point, to get to this point, what they'd gone through, and reflect on their journey to date. And then also to think about what in life they wanted to do next. And it didn't have to just be karate, or Jeet Kune Do, which is actually what he does. It didn't have to be martial arts. It could be anything in life. Because their teacher said, this may be the last time some of you guys sit on the mat. This may be for you, this goal, and you want to do something else. But, just take a moment and figure out what you want to do next. And then once you were done, they were asked to blow out the candle. So, and then he got his new belt, which is great because his old belt did not fit him anymore. It was getting too small. And then we got, yay, he's got his new belt. And the yellow stripe is the indication that he's not only a black belt, but a first-degree black belt. So that was how all of this went. And it was a good day. It was a really good day. And I am super, super proud of him. So, and let's go back to, let's take that off for right now. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it was good. I was happy. And now we've got probably another 2 years plus before he'll test again for a belt. And given that he's in he's going to be going into 8th grade and high school's coming, it may be the last belt that he ever goes for, but for right now, he definitely wants to continue in martial arts. So we'll see what the future end is for him. If he just wants to stay where he's at and just go to class, that's cool. If he finds other interests, that's cool too. But, you know, letting him lead at this point. So, and oh, that's so nice. I know. It was good. And Dee Dee came in and said hi, popping in to say a quick hello and make friends with the like button. Hope you had a wonderful weekend, which I did. Thank you. And I hope that hers was good too. I feel bad because I wasn't able to do as much of the cookie challenge as I'd hoped to. But I did do some reading, which was great. So, oh, and Liz popped back in. Hello, hello. She's stitching, which is awesome. She said that she didn't think she would make it today. Had a party this afternoon. Still working on Long May She Wave. Very nice. Yes, as much as I kind of wince personally about doing anything that's kind of remotely, I don't know. I guess coming to America isn't really patriotic stitching, but you know, it's Americana stitching. As much as it's kind of making me recoil these days, I still want to do it. So I get it. Oh, Pearl got a call and missed the start of the chatty bit. Pearl, go back because I showed the photos of Max's Max's belt ceremony. So go back like 3 or 4 minutes and you'll see the photos from the ceremony and the recap. But yeah, it was good. It was very good. You read 3.5 books for Kooky? That's not bad. I think I got through 1 out of my 12. So it just all fell apart. But you know what? That's okay. I mean, it was such a weird month over here that I'm like, you know what? The books will be there. I'll get them done. Maybe I'll try again for June and just kind of do it on my own. You know, at this point, it's all of my digital books. So it's not like it's stuff that I'm waiting to read to pack up. All the hard copy stuff is getting packed up right now. So I'm just going to be on my iPad reading anyway. So whatever. It is what it is. All right. So I am mindful of the Kooky wrap up tonight. So I don't want to drag too much because I know some people do have to pop over there. And I know there's a couple of people who might be watching that are going to disappear for that. So I am going to get us onto our next sprint, and partially because I want to finish these white birds before I lose any more of my light. I've already got my super bright light over here so I can see the thing. It's like, ooh. I set up my my floor lamp from Joann's that I bought when they were going out of business. And instead of putting it as a floor light, I have it clamped onto my desk so I can actually see stuff while I'm stitching here, which is kind of nice because I'm used to stitching out on the couch. So creating my little pod over here to stitch, which is perfect. So anyway, let me get us on to our next sprint so I can be all crafty and get a couple of these things done. And I'm going to put myself down in the bottom corner there. Pearl's like, I'm here till you're done. Honest. Cool. I'm glad to have you here till I'm done. Hopefully not until I'm done with this piece because you'll be sitting here for a long, long time. But at least for tonight. But yeah, I'm going to get us going on the next sprint here. And I think I'm going to change what she's doing because this whole fast growing plant thing that's going on right here is kind of freaking me out, to be honest. So let's see. Now I think I'm going to have her in. We'll have her knitting in the gazebo for a little bit. I think that's the way to go. Okay. So let me skip us to our sprint. There we go. Happy sprinting, everybody, and I'll see you in another 45 minutes. I'm here. I'm finishing 2 stitches. Hang on just a moment. Because these seagulls are driving me a little batty today. Okay. I've put the feet on another gull. All right. Cool. Let me flip back to where you can see me. Hello. All righty. So, how'd that one go for folks? I have a little more progress. You can see the seagulls a little bit better now that the feet and the eyeballs are getting in on them in their beaks. So that's promising. Although I'm still thinking I might want to do a really light background, like outline around them, but we'll see. I'll let it simmer for a little while I get some of the other work done. But so I finished the eyeballs on all of them. I have the feet and bills on 4 out of the 9 so far. So getting there. But all of the seagulls are, getting done. Just taking a little bit longer than I thought it would, but stitching always seems to take me longer than I thought it will. And that's just how it goes. Let me anchor this floss while I'm thinking about it. The biggest issue I have right now with this is that since I'm hopping around and just doing like 2 stitches here, 3 stitches here, it's a lot of like starting and then ending my thread. And because, I don't carry it across the back, because once you frame it, you're going to see those lines of your floss. So I'm trying to keep it nice and clean and not carry the floss. And that it takes more time because I'm doing it the supposed right way. Darn my cleaning. All right, let me pause our timer again just in case. There we go. Okay, so let me go back up. Pearl said that she was going to slide back in to see what she missed now that we were back into our sprint. And then she said that my issue with listening to audiobooks is that my strongest superpower is tuning out voices. So I find that I'm listening for a few minutes, and then I realize an hour has gone by and I heard absolutely nothing. And I relate to this. It's not that I tune out the voices, but my biggest problem is I have shiny syndrome. So I'll be starting one thing and I've got the book going, and then I change gears. And so now, my brain has skipped like 2 things away. So now the book is like behind me. So yeah, I totally get that. And you're just like, oh crap, now I got to rewind like an hour and figure it out, which is one of the reasons I prefer hard copy books. But you know what? I've done it occasionally with a hard copy book too, where you kind of get in that reading zone and it's like you're reading the words, but they're not going into your brain. I've had that happen too. I started to do that with the Robert Jordan Wheel of Time series in around like book 6, and realized I'd read, and those are, chunk books. I'd read, I think it was a book and a half, and I couldn't remember what had happened in that entire book and a half. And I'm like, I think I'm done with the series. I was like, argh. So Pearl said I used to be quite addicted to Diet Coke when I worked for a psycho real estate agent in Toronto. I'd wake up in the middle of the night to drink Diet Coke. Thank goodness I got off that. Yeah, I blame I've always liked Diet Coke, but I really got addicted to it when Max was a baby and, working full time and having an infant, and just the desperate need for caffeine just to keep going. I've definitely weeded myself back from where I was. I will never cut it cold turkey, but I do need to start focusing on more healthy things to drink. We'll put it this way. But yeah. Oh, excuse me. I don't know where that came from. Ooh, excuse me. Will Max be able to get more stripes on his belt? Yes. So the rule, so his instructor is currently a 4th degree black belt. So he has 4 gold stripes on his belt. And between each stripe, it's a longer amount of time before you can take the exam again. So like, for instance, between his certified black belt and the 1st degree, he had to hold that black belt for a full year. And then at the next test, he could test for it. So he got his black belt in October of 2024. So when the testing came around in 25, he hadn't held it for a full calendar year yet. So he had to wait until this coming spring to test for it. I want to say for the 2nd degree, I think he has to wait 2 years before he could test again. So it'll probably be, so that would say, we're going to say the end of 8th grade, end of 9th grade. So the beginning of 10th grade is when he would be about ready to, he could start pursuing it. I think that's about right. And then it goes a little bit longer and a little bit longer. The rule of thumb is that he can never earn the same rank as his teacher. So let's say his teacher decides not to pursue the 5th degree, the highest Max could get to under his current system is 3rd degree. But I mean, at this point, you're looking at that. He's probably not going to test for that until he's 19 at the earliest. So who knows if he'll be there or not. He might do it, he might not. But yes, he can test on and on. Just the one rule is you cannot surpass your teacher in that discipline. If he went to another discipline, like he went and did Taekwondo or he did karate, then he starts over at white belt or wherever he tests into, depending on how their system works, and then starts all over, and it's a totally different belt system. So, yeah. It was a lovely ceremony for the kids. It really was. And they took it really, really seriously, which was kind of awesome. And there were some of the kids who really did sit there for quite a while with that candle burning and just to think. So it was nice to see. And it was funny afterwards because Max rolls his eyes at me when I go, I go and meditate and stuff. And, because I've told him how I tried one of those Epsom salt float tanks just to kind of lay there for an hour soaking and drifting. And also one of the other places, which is far less expensive, just to go be relaxed and whatnot. I went to one of those Himalayan salt caves to just sit, and you get to sit in one of those 0 gravity chairs in the salt cave, and the lights are dim, and it's just kind of got that atmosphere about it, and it really kind of helps open my sinuses up with the salt. And I told Max, I'm like, you sitting with that candle is basically what I go to do when I go sit. It's not this eye rolling, "You're so weird, Mom," as he tends to tell me these days. And he just kind of is giving me a look. Next weekend, while it's just he and I running solo, while my husband is up with the guys in New Hampshire, I may drag him to the salt cave and let him sit there for a little bit. We'll see how that works. Maybe. We'll see. All right. Pearl is now caught up, which is awesome. Okay. And Pearl says, it's the same in piping. If you surpass your teacher, it makes sense to get a higher level teacher. Right. Yeah. I mean, he technically physically can't get a higher level belt, but if he feels that he needs to move to a different teacher or he wants to explore something else, then it just makes sense to go explore something else, and the nice thing is his teacher understands that. You know, he even at the ceremony on Friday, they were like, for some of you, this might be it. This may be the very last night you're on this mat. You know, it happens. He goes, and that's okay. You know, you reached a goal, and your goal might be something totally different. And some of, you know, I can be a little scary, especially as a kid, to be like, you know, I want to go do something else. But they reached the milestone, and now it's, you have to set your new milestone. I think they discourage the kids from quitting before they get to these belt milestones. But, you know, once you reach that milestone, it's the time to reevaluate. And like Max is not going to do demo this next round, mostly just because of our move and because we just don't know what the schedule is going to be. And it's a lot of a time commitment. So he's going to see where he's at when they do the next black belt testing and performance date, which will be like the end of October. And then he'll try out for demo again in November and try to, you know, that's totally cool. So we're going to focus on the move for the summer, and he's reevaluating what he wants and needs to do, because it was a lot this last 6 months. It was him not doing the black belt prep and the demo is going to eliminate 3 hours of class time from me per week, which kind of is huge. So it frees up my Friday nights in particular, which is awesome. I was like, I love salt caves. I should go to one soon because of allergies. They have been a wonder for me this spring. And it's weird because you think they're not going to do it. You're like, I'm going to go sit on a chair in a cave where there's salts in the air in the room. What the heck is this woo? But I was surprised at just how relaxed it put me. Ugh. Excuse me. Now that I'm thinking of allergies, I'm sneezing. But it really is relaxing. And especially right now, I do like the float tank thing, but also with allergies and the weather and stuff, I have like a couple of spots on my back that, you know, I just was breaking out a little bit. And if those go into salt water right now, it's going to sting like crazy, especially that much salt. So I'm going to wait till those heal up before I go and float again, because I don't need to be screaming. But the salt caves is just like a nice chill relaxation meditation. The ones around here, it's like $45, and it's an hour-long appointment. So I think it's 45 minutes in the cave, and then you just have like a little bit of downtime afterwards where you just kind of go into like a relaxation room and you can journal and just have some tea and something and just, you know, reflect about what you're doing. So I recommend. Alrighty. I think that catches us up. So I'm going to get us going on our last, our last one. Just so before we get there though, in case people start drifting off to do dinner and whatnot tonight. So next weekend, as I mentioned, Eric is away. And to keep myself from spending too much money outside of my house, I decided to do a secondary live stream. So let me get my calendar so I make sure that I actually have my times right. I'm going to be doing live streams next weekend, both Saturday and Sunday next week. And the one on Saturday is going to be a longer one. I'm going to start at 4 p.m. Eastern and run it until around 9 o'clock that night. It will be partially stitching, but I'm also probably going to do some writing during that time and just like some general puttering around here. So yeah, 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock on Saturday, and then the normal 5 to 8 p.m. on Sunday next weekend, because I'm going to stay home and I'm just going to chill and I'm going to relax while Eric's away. We'll get a little bit done around the house, and then it's just going to be Melissa puttering time, because I need puttering time. So That's next weekend. So just so folks know. And they are already scheduled. They're already up on my live calendar. So you'll see them there. Okay. So Pearl said, there's a salt cave where I live, but I don't like the owner, so I will find one somewhere else. That's part of it. You have to find there's like a couple of new age shops that are around here, and I've gone in there and either have had bad encounters with the owner / staff, or the vibe just feels off. You got to be comfortable where you go. There's no way you're going to meditate or relax at something like this if the vibe's off. It's not going to happen, you know. We have a piping contest on Saturday morning, so I might not be back for you starting, but I'll pop in when I get home and settled. Cool. I'd love to have you. And I have it set for 4 to 9, but I have nowhere to be. So if I'm in a zone and I feel like I'm going to keep going, I'll keep going. I'm probably not as crazy as Nicole is with the cookie thing, where she'll be for like 8, 9, 10 hours, but we'll see where we go. Because like I said, I got nowhere to be next weekend. So, and I'm kind of looking forward to live streaming and just hanging out and stitching. So, all right, let me get us on our last one because I want to make sure we wrap up before they start their grand finale at 8 o'clock. So let me get us switched over here. And I'll put on I forgot to put the sprint thingy on last time, so we'll do that. Okay. And I will get us on our last 45. I mentioned earlier, we're not going to do a wind down sprint this time. We're just going to do this last 45 and then wrap up and wave goodbye. So, but if you are over on Coda's sprints later this evening, I will probably be popping in and out there, and I'll be on Jenna's Soulbard sprints probably as well. I'll put links into everybody during the sprint so you know what's going on this evening and where you can find me. All right. Happy sprinting, everybody, and I'll see you in 45. All right, everybody. I hope that went well for you. I managed to get all of the birdies done. They show up a little bit better, but I'm still not quite happy with how they look. So I think I am going to outline them all, just the bodies, you know, just the white of their bodies, just so they pop out a little bit from the fabric. Because, I mean, you cannot see those guys very well. There's like just a little bit of back stitch that's supposed to go to define the wing that's you're looking at. So I think I'm just going to do the whole body with that outline and just see if that makes it look better. You know, my piece, my rules. But yes, I hope everyone had a good time today. Coda is starting his sprints in like 3 or 4 minutes, so I'm going to wrap us up here. Thank you to everyone who came and popped in and said hello. And like I mentioned before this sprint, I will be back on Saturday for a special time at 4 p.m. and then next Sunday for my usual 5 p.m. So I hope that, you know, you guys have a great week. And Pearl and I are going to be figuring out what the heck goes on Wednesday. If I can pop in on her sprints and guest host with her a little bit. Hopefully I can make that happen. It just all depends on how Boston traffic behaves for me. But otherwise, I'll see everybody next weekend. And until then, have a great week and take care all. Bye.